Hi, I'm Lauren Guido here with Newsbeat, interviewing two candidates from the True Blue Party for Central Student Government elections. Can you two please just introduce yourself for me, please?
Hi, my name is Arthi Sabata, and I'm the presidential candidate for True Blue.
And I'm Marianne Drysdale. I'm the vice presidential candidate for True Blue.
So can you two please discuss some of your most important platforms that you're running on for this election?
Sure. So one of the major things that we're looking to do is improve food accessibility on campus. When talking to students, we've noticed a lot of them say that grocery stores are really far away. It's really hard to have access to healthy and affordable food. So one of the things that we're looking to do is introduce a pop-up bi-weekly grocery store in centralized locations on campus. So groceries come to students at the university and they really have access to this healthy and affordable produce.
Yeah, another issue area that we really see on campus is a lack of connectedness among students. One way we hope to navigate that is by implementing a By Students for Students mentorship initiative so that when freshmen come onto campus, they can be paired with older students that share aspirations or backgrounds or personality traits so that they can help navigate the resources at the university.
So you two already touched on this a little bit, but how do you plan to implement these platforms further?
Yeah, so a major thing for us is in order to create sustainable change that's going to be able to last 2, 3, 4 years is to really build on the work that's already being done. So one of the things that I worked on when I was a member of the executive team was an emergency meal fund program. So really collecting data and addressing the issue in the short term. And so we're looking to build on that work in the long term so we have more of a sustainable initiative.
Yeah, so touching on what Arthi said, I think one thing that can help our campaign with implementing our initiatives is a real focus on sustainable long-term change. So that means a lot of research and a lot of student feedback being used so that we're making sure that we're thinking about really helping the students with what they need rather than just making decisions for them.
So I know this might be well known amongst your party and your field, but can you just describe to me a bit about the research process just for the students who may not be so informed in that area?
Totally.
The research process in terms of initiatives?
Yes.
Awesome. So just to take an example of the initiative that I worked on last year, it was if any student was food insecure on campus, they could go to the Dean of Students office and fill out a short intake form. So it would ask them a little bit about whether they live on campus or not, or whether they have a car or not, and really taking that data to see which students are most effective. So they would have access to a short-term 6 meals at the dining hall, but we were also collecting data on which students were most effective at the university.
Mm-hmm. That's really, really interesting. So what do you think separates True Blue from other campaigns on campus?
One thing that brought us together initially was, as a representative in the assembly, I really wanted to do meaningful work, and I knew that Arthi had been working on what's called the Leadership Engagement Scholarship. So that scholarship awards financial resources to students that would otherwise have to have a job on campus so that they can get involved in organizations. So we got brought together initially in order to solve a problem rather than in order to join together for a ticket for student government. And so that focus on sustainable change is really the driving force that brought our ticket together.
Yeah, and then when we were talking about kind of our vision for campus, we realized we had really 3 core values in common. So the first was being really community-minded about who we were trying to represent, and then really being student-focused with our action. And then, this is a little cheesy, but we say that we're impact hungry, so really focusing on the impact of the work rather than the position itself.
Yeah, and so obviously you're very much centered around the student base, and how are some ways that you've reached out to the student population or tried to hear their voice?
So one of the major things that we've kind of been trying to improve with CSG is the communication between CSG and the students. So that means instead of asking students to come to our 7:30 meeting on Tuesday nights, really putting ourselves in the diag, making ourselves accessible so they can talk to us on the way to class rather than having to take time out of their day. Another really big thing is we've been reaching out to a lot of student organizations to hear their feedback on both their experiences within their organization as well as just being a student on campus.
Yeah, and as of now, I'm serving as the communications committee chair for student government, and I noticed that there were a lot of people that didn't really know what student government was, and I found that really frustrating because without students knowing that we have resources, it's impossible to have those resources affect them. So one of the ways that we were reaching out to students was through donuts on the diag. So we gave free donuts and coffee to any student that walked by on the diag so that in the middle of their day, if they wanted to just get a donut or coffee, that was fine, but they could also tell us anything that they wanted us to know, or we could have a chance to engage in conversation about what was happening on campus. So
Yeah, so one more lighthearted question
Yeah.
on the topic of food. If you could redesign the food pyramid without any diet or health consequences, how would it look?
I am a huge pasta fan. I love all different sauces, all different shapes, so mine would just be a huge pasta pyramid.
Yeah, I think I would have like 90% dark chocolate on the bottom, and then like 75% on the top, and then like as you go up, just like progressively more milky chocolate. So like a whole chocolate pyramid.
Yeah, so thank you guys both so much for being on the show. So that's all we have for you. Please go out and vote for your essential student government so your voice can be heard.